2020, production of poultry meat and eggs in Uganda hit a high quantity of about 70,000 and 45,000 tons respectively. It is estimated that poultry farmers rear about 40 to 50 million chickens per year to meet the high demand by the local and international markets, having to carefully choose breeds that grow fast, lay quality eggs in high quantity and mature to a mid or large size, guaranteeing profit and market satisfaction. The top choice breed for such results is largely the hybrid improved chicken breeds, but these require closed shelter rearing, round-the-clock monitoring, and are highly susceptible to diseases. Back in 2010, a new fast-growing and easy-to-rear breed was introduced from the keg farms in India, a dual-purpose breed that doesn't require closed shelters but can be reared under the free-range system and will give the poultry farmer similar results as the hybrid chicken. This alternative breed is the broiler chicken breed. Coming up.
Actually, I've been telling people who want to join poultry, there are two issues. One, you don't need a lot of capital and you don't need a lot of space. You start small and you grow bigger.
Until recently, most Ugandans have practiced farming at a subsistence level, treating the venture not as a business, but growing crops, rearing livestock and poultry only for home consumption without trade. Today, agriculture contributes over 37% to Uganda's gross domestic produce, and more farmers have turned to commercial farming, treating the venture as a serious business. 34-year-old Davis Lutalo quit a printing and graphics design job after 3 years of work to focus on poultry keeping at his mother's home after he discovered the broiler chicken breed.
I started with layers, but there were not many. I started with 200. Later on, after a year, because they laid for 2 years, from there I joined broilers, but things didn't work out for broilers. From there, in 2010, I was on a TV and I saw news whereby the government had introduced their broilers from the keg farm in India. Then I started to make research on broiler birds. From there, I landed on the number on internet. It was for a lady. We used to call that lady Muchala Nsubuga. She had a farm in Kulambiro. I called her and I told her I want to buy some broilers. I remember that time she asked me, how many birds do you want to buy? And I told her I want 5 birds. She even laughed and she told me I don't sell birds. But I told her, allow me to come and visit your farm. She gave me that opportunity and I went to visit her farm in Kulambiro. She accepted to sell me the broiler cock at 35 and the hens at 25. I was keeping my local birds here. There were not many. There were around 50, of which around 15 were laying eggs. But by then we had the only thing we could use with those eggs was to eat them. So when I bought those broilers after 3 days, they started laying eggs. I could pick the eggs laid by the broiler hens and I give the local birds to hatch. In a period of 3 months, I had raised over 200 broilers. Then I called Muchala Nsubuga and I told Muchala Nsubuga, I want to come and visit, but this time I'm not coming to buy birds. But I just want to show you the project I'm doing. She gave me an appointment, I met her. By then I went with those short clips on my phone. I showed her that these are the birds that you sold to me, but now I'm able to have more than 200 birds. And my target is to influence other people, basically the youth, to come and join me. Because in this world of ours, you can study something, but at the end, it's hard to get a job. Then she told me, you're the very people that the government is supposed to empower so that you can inspire other people to join in. So that's how I started the poultry business.
The Croiler chicken breed is a dual-purpose low-maintenance scavenger breed with indigenous traits that thrives on household and agricultural waste. The breed grows faster and lays more eggs than the local chicken breeds. This has presented poultry farmers with an opportunity to lower operation costs and maximize profits.
These birds, we call them improved birds because they have features of the local birds. These birds were crossed from broilers and commercial layers, so that when people keep them, they have the two species into them. You know, the broilers are basically made for meat. They grow faster. Then the layers are for eggs. So when you keep a croiler, you're keeping a bird which is dual purpose. So a croiler, if you feed it very well, it can lay close to 200 eggs and above a year, whereas these local birds can give you like 40 eggs. Croilers, if you get a good breed, they mature very fast. Maturity is 2 terms. When you go to the hen, maturity is 4.5 months, that is 4 months and a half, that is laying, because these birds start laying at 4 months and a half if you feed them well. Then there's maturity part of the cocks, that is the croiler cocks or the males. For them, if you feed them well, at 3 months and a half, you're able to sell them at a good price, maybe 35, 40, and 45. So it depends on what you want to do. Actually, these birds, they can even scavenge on their own. You can keep them on free range. You can feed them halfway. You can keep them on free range.
The Croiler hens will lay over 200 eggs a year and will mature at 4.5 months, while the Croiler cock at 3.5 months. At the market, these will go for 35,000 to 40,000 Ugandan shillings and give the farmer good profit. But this is mostly determined by how well you feed the chicken.
Give your birds the best, you will get the best. Whatever shortcut you take, the time of harvest, you have to prolong the time of harvesting. It's either you can look for good pellet or concentrates, you mix your own food. The advantage that is in mixing your own food, you will get to know what you are giving your birds.
But since Croiler chicken are a scavenger breed and can survive under a free-range system, a farmer has more options of feed other than mixed concentrates.
You don't need a lot. They can eat many other things. They can eat banana peels, they can eat food leftovers, everything. They are easy to maintain and they bring in profit in a short run.
It might sound quite easy to feed the Croiler chicken breed, but due to fluctuating prices, a farmer who chooses to use concentrate and pellets as feed might have to consider other supplementary options to manage operation costs in a form of maggots.
In poultry, I've been telling people, if you're going to do poultry, you have to look for all means that you can use to cut on the costs of feeds. As long as what you substitute with will not affect the growth of the bird. At the end of the day, we'll find that the cost of 1 kilogram of mixed feed for bird is around 2,400, which is too high. But someone who is going to do the maggots, that is the Bsf Production. Somebody will ask me, what is Bsf? It is the black soldier fly. We buy eggs. We hatch them, then they turn into larvae. It's larvae that we give our birds. If you feed your broiler at 2 weeks and you start giving it maggots, by 8 weeks, it will be weighing minimum of 4 kilograms. But somebody who is using concentrates and the rest, at 8 weeks, that bird will be weighing maximum 2.3 kg. And also maggots, they are very cheap. Because if you go and you buy a gram of eggs for black soldier fly, one gram of the eggs will produce 13,000 maggots. And 1 gram will produce 4 to to 5 kilograms of maggot. That is 1 gram. So 50 grams of maggot, of the eggs of maggot, will produce close to 250 kilograms of maggots. And 1 kilogram, to raise 1 kilogram of maggot, you can produce 1 kilogram of maggot at around 600 shillings. So it's cheaper to use maggots than going for other things.
The maggots are cheap to harvest due to the rapid production cycle and nutritious for the chicken due to a high protein concentrate. It would therefore be prudent for any poultry farmer to practice black soldier fly farming as a supplementary feed option. But is all this indeed a worthwhile venture? Do the broiler chicken have a substantial market?
The market for broilers is there, because even if you try to move around the streets, the rate at which people consume chicken is very high. Leave alone the chicken part of it, the eggs. Broiler eggs are very expensive. They are not like layers eggs, because a tray of broilers, if the market is good, can even go to 20,000. I remember one time I sold a tray at 30,000 to somebody in Tanzania. That was around 2016. A person came and bought 30 trays and gave me 900,000, which is rare to find a tray of layers eggs at that price.
Through online advertisement, Davis was able to tap into customers in Kenya and Tanzania, as he found that Uganda poultry farmers were not eager to buy the broiler chicken.
When the broilers were introduced in Africa, Uganda was among the few countries that were selected. I think it was Uganda, Ethiopia, and other 2 countries. So it was difficult for Kenyans to have broilers in their country. So the only source for them to get broilers were to visit their neighbors, Uganda. That's why for us we sell a lot of broilers to Kenya than any other breed. Right now our market stands at maybe 80% Kenyan, 20% Ugandans, but in 2012-13, Ugandans were contributing like 3%. They were not buying a lot.
Although Davis has found a large market to his broiler birds in Kenya, it wasn't easy penetrating the market initially, but with persistence and focus, he now has a small office for his customers and continues using online advertising mostly. Davis is a true testament of taking a leap of faith into the unknown and that any idea can become a reality. Let's take a short break. We shall be back with more on how Davis Lutalo runs his poultry business and the benefits he has gained from farming broiler chicken. Seeds of Gold will return shortly. Welcome back to Seeds of Gold. Before the break, we met Davis Lutalo, a 34-year-old farmer who quit his printing and graphics design job to focus on poultry farming of the broiler chicken breed. For over 5 years now, he has reared and sold off over 1,000 birds monthly and made 7 million Ugandan shillings monthly too. Lutalo's life has not been the same, and he believes in a hands-on approach to attain success in poultry, especially for aspiring poultry farmers.
First of all, you have to love what you're going to join. That is the passion I talked about. Don't dedicate. However much you might be sleeping with maybe 10 millions in your pocket, but you're going to leave your business in the hands of someone who is earning 300 a month. And the loss that you can make in 1 month can be a salary that you can use to pay that person for a year. So you have to give poultry time. even if you are the boss, you put your boss aside. Like for example, me when I come here, I'm a different person. You will see me put on trucks or what, even cleaning. I have people who help me around, the people I work with, but I have to get involved because that passion. If I don't supply well my customers, the question will not go to my staff. Questions will come back to me. Me, I run my business personally. Somebody will ask that why am I involved? We've employed so many people. But if you leave your business to people, you will face a lot of challenges. That if I decide to tell you the challenges you can face tomorrow, you will just quit. Me, I come here every day at 6. I leave at 11 p.m. in the night. You can see the passion I have. At the same time, I have to be online. Actually, me, I've been telling people who want to join poultry, there are two issues. One, you don't need a lot of capital, and you don't need a lot of space. You start small, and you grow big. I'm going to give an example of a room which is 8 by 10 feet. If someone is having that room, goes and purchase like, let me say 250 chicks, you can keep those birds into that room for 1 month. 250 birds, if you go and sell a 1 month old chick on market, currently it's between 6,500 to 7,000. So if you buy a day-old chick, let me say at 2,300, that is standard price. So 250 chicks, that's around 600 plus. So if you raise those chicks for a month, you're going to just multiply 6,500 times 250.
Davis believes that poultry is a lucrative venture that requires a small startup capital and determination. He started at his mother's home with little space and believes you don't need to wait for large capital and space to start. Have the belief and jump.
This place is where my mom stays. I don't sleep here, but I do my business here. Actually, I decided to make this construction as you've seen. They may look a bit cheap or what, but I can do poultry here for 30 years. And the money that I get here, even if you're having, let me say 100 by 100, and you have like rentals there, we cannot be on the same scale. Because here, I can brood 10,000 chicks to a month. And that is a lot. 10,000 chicks. If you get a tender and somebody gives you a tender of supplying 10,000 chicks, 1 month old, you can see the space. But if you sell at a price of 6,500, I don't know how much money you will be earning. So it's not about space. It's how you can utilize the little space you have and the passion you have for poultry. Don't just join poultry because your neighbor joined. Believe that the little capital you have will take you to where you want to be in 2 years' time. Any space you have is okay for you to start. Don't wait to accumulate a huge amount of money that I need 5 million. 5 million for what? Do you know what 5 million can do in a poultry? Here we started with woods. This place. We started with the timbers. That's when I started, because I could not be having much more money. I started with timbers. But you can look at this place.
Whatever you have can be that seed of gold to catapult your life into greatness. Davis Lotalo has benefited from poultry farming immensely, and his life is where he wants it.
I think my first vehicle I bought, I think some 4 years ago. I bought it from poultry. I could visit offices, and people could see me as a big man, but a big man is on a border bit. So they could challenge me. Davis, you're a big man, but why are you coming on a border bit? Do you know what came into my mind? I said, I'm not going to start with an expensive car. Let me get 2,000 chicks. I keep them in the month, in a brooder for 1 month, and I sell those birds at 6,000 each. So if I sell 2,000 birds, I'll get 12 million. Now 12 million, if I calculate the other costs and everything, I remember I spent around 4 million on those birds. So I made a profit of 8 million in 30 days, and that was already a car. I could be able to look after my family. When I look at my family, I don't mean about my kids or what. I mean my mom. I could be able to finish up her house. I could be able to change the environment of this place. I'm able to pay fees for my kids, help kids of my brothers, and many people. Because my dream in life is not to be a billionaire. It's just to help the needy.
Davis believes he has also impacted other people's lives and created employment opportunities for his community.
I've offered jobs to many people, being taxi drivers, people in this village, border guys, because I have a border guy I use to run day-to-day business. But I think in a month I spend on him around 1.4.
The reality of any venture is that you will have to face a number of challenges, and poultry farming is no different.
There are people who will come and buy chicks from you 1, 2, 3, 5 times. Then on the 6th time the person will come and say, Davis, I need 1,000 chicks, but I have money for 500. You supply, and the 500 goes like that. The person will not come back to you, but for you will consider the fact that this person has been buying from you. You trust that person, but the person can disappear with your money. So I got a customer who was in Mombasa and told me, Davis, I'm in Mombasa, but I need chicks. And something came into my mind. How will this bird survive for almost 18 hours? But because I have the passion, I told the customer, I'll deliver. I'll send the birds to Busia. They cross to Kenya side. They will board from Busia to Nairobi. Then I'll get somebody from Nairobi to Mombasa to deliver. But the challenge we don't have direct vehicles that can carry chicks from Kampala to Mombasa. Sometimes we use public means. And public means you don't know how they handle your chicks. We used to use buses. You move your chicks from here to Busia. You go to the Kenyan side, you put the chicks into the bus. Those people can shift your chicks from inside the bus. They put them in the boot. By the time they get to Nairobi, they are already all dead. So you have to choose either to lose the customer, or you replace the chicks and you maintain the customer. I remember my first year of sending chicks to Kenya, I made a loss was totaling 77 million in replacing chicks. Then another challenge, police interference. You know, they say that East Africa is supposed to be free entry for agricultural products and what. But let me tell you, when crossing chicks from Busia to Kenya, you have to pay. But because I think right now crossing a box that carries 50 chicks day old, you have to part with like 3,000 shillings. That is 100 shillings Kenyan money. But for us, we used to believe that since we are all from the East African community, it is a free thing. And I believe our government thinks that it's a free thing, but it's not free. Those policemen there, they want money. Police officers from the Uganda side, from the Kenyan side, they want money. And we just request our government if they can find a way of helping us.
Davis believes that challenges exist to be overcome, and he has a few words of wisdom for aspiring and fellow poultry farmers.
First of all, you have to be trustworthy, genuine, quality, and you have to be committed and be available every time the client needs you. It does not make sense to sell birds expensively and they overstay at your place. The more they overstay at your place, the more expensive it is to manage to keep them. I know it can take you a year to look for one customer, but to lose that customer, it can be a blink of an eye. And hygiene is paramount if you're going to do poultry, because there is a lot of money that we spend in treating birds, but that money will never recover it anywhere. You can keep your birds and you sell the coffee husks to the farmers as manures, but the money you've invested in for treatment, you will never recover it anywhere.
Make smart choices to start and maintain your farming business. Davis Lutalo is an example of utilizing the small space you have and pushing limits to success. If you are a young person looking for a source of income, don't neglect the opportunity in farming. The agriculture sector is the backbone to global economies, especially here in Uganda. It might be labor-intensive, but farming is a long-term investment to better your life. Don't run away from the dirt. Embrace it. Here at Seeds of Gold, we highlight farmers around the country who are uniquely contributing to the growth of Uganda's economy and bettering their lives. You too can be that farmer. What are you waiting for? Start now and reap from your seed of gold. See you next time.